Hello. So today we're going to talk about EON AI. This is the new AI-centric EON platform that adds significant value with artificial intelligence to already extended reality-based contextual learning, training, and performing. So we're going to specifically take you through a tour of what AI can do today, which is remarkable, and walk you through 5 specific product and features that we are adding to the platform based on artificial intelligence. In short, I believe that within next year, EON today is probably 34% AI, will be 70 to 80% AI, and it's going to play a more important role in man-machine interaction and unification. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to talk about things like, for example, EON AI Assistant, which is the ability to do conversation learning. So, I mean, you pick, for example, a DNA, you say DNA, Metaverse Builder automatically creates that DNA, and then you're able to converse, simply discuss with an artificial intelligence avatar, and that avatar will provide you information such as which are the building blocks of DNA.
Chromosomes, which are made up of genes. Genes are the units of...
So I'm having a conversation with artificial intelligence regarding that topic. So that's a first step that works quite well. The next step is to help AI to guide you and to provide you contextual learning, things that have to do with your daily life or specific things that you want to be in a factory or in a room, or learn about topics, things that you see in your environment, and get guidance in general speaking about things in that specific location that you are. So that's what we call the AI guide. Can be an AI guide to a museum, can be AI guide, as you see there, to which vitamins I should take that morning. Okay, so now we enter into the creative space. Many people said that the creativity will be the last thing that AI will do. Now, we were wrong, I was wrong. In fact, creativity is one of the first things AI is doing.
Today we gotta talk.
And what's interesting is that you can use a text string and convert that text to 3D, or you can convert that text to images, or even to very sophisticated animation. Now, the ability to convert the text to 3D is obvious, but you can use that to walk and build a metaverse, starting with clouds, water, objects in a very natural way. And then with EON persistent tracking, you are able to place these new environments, walls, or even in your room, in your spaces. Decorate your walls, your floor, your ceiling. Create moods that are changing or are perpetual linked to a place. So this gives you a total different dimension when we come to creativity. The next one is very practical. It's about training. The ability to, let's say you encounter a training, you want to train how to repair an engine. So although there's no lesson created around that, the AI has the ability to generate on the fly the 3 step-by-step procedure in order to conduct that specific or standard sequence. And finally, ultimately, we're going to talk about AI performance enhancement. You know, there's a lot of talk about robots today. I'm sure you've heard about the Tesla bot, but it will take us, according to Elon Musk, 5 years for those to come. But already today, we can use this multimodal AI to help generate instruction and performance enhancements. So let's say I need to install a certain specific component. I get that instruction and it shows me step by step how to do it in real time. So that's enhancing humans' capabilities beyond our current constraints. So it's very obvious this year, it became obvious that AI increasingly starts to outperform humans. General knowledge, for example, we can see very clearly that already AI is better than us. But very important aspects of what we call intelligence, like common sense etc., we are getting very close when AI is better. In fact, the top 6 AI models outperform human baseline when it comes to things like common knowledge. And what's exciting about this is that the models are developed everywhere. It's not only United States, Israel, China, Russia, UAE. It's a global phenomenon. And what's even more exciting, in my view, is that we are moving away from specific models that only handle language or only handle vision or only handle physical world tasks. Now we have multimodal solutions such as DeepMind's Gato, means cat in Spanish, that is able to both engage in a dialogue, at the same time recognize things in your physical environment, and help you with an AI avatar to move or manipulate physical things in your world. And that's where we're going close to Human 2.0. Now, a lot of debate a few years ago was whether computers are even able to reach artificial general intelligence, which is defined as the ability to have an intelligence that is equal or even surpass humans. And the answer is there's very little debate about that. This year, in April, AI can understand complex humor. It's able to decipher complex images. It's able to draw a complex picture. It's also able to physically embody and start acting. So we are still not fully there. We're at 40% when it comes to artificial general intelligence, but it moves very fast. So let's talk about certain models that already exist in the market. One of the leading activities is in the language area. We had something called GPT-3, which is readily available and commercially available, which is being released. We have a number of models like Gopher, Chinchilla, Flamenco from DeepMind. And there's lots of different models that are available today and do a very good job. If you want to learn more about it, I refer you to a paper that describes not only how these models work, but how you can access them and how you can even talk with them. And there's a whole architecture, and there's a paper that written by a gentleman here that I'm really much subscribing to, and I referred it. But also how you can use voice to speak with an AI. Just to give you a little feeling, it's not only about creating an AI model, but also about enabling this model to have, how shall I say, some filters, right? So in this case, in this model called Sparrow, which is from DeepMind, they have applied 22 models, I think 22 filters. So it shall not do certain things, and we'll see how it handles that in a natural conversation. Let's look.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Sparrow, an AI assistant. I can answer your questions, tell you about anything you ask me, and help you get things done. What can I help you with?
What's an example of something you can teach me?
I can teach you pretty much anything. I was trained on a huge amount of text, so I know lots of facts. I can also give you advice and recommendations, and teach you skills.
A sparrow just flew by and stole my nuts. Did you have anything to do with this?
I'm a computer program, so I don't have a body or control over the physical world. I'm sorry about your nuts, but I can't help you.
What are some examples of moral systems?
Utilitarianism, deontology, virtue ethics, ethics of care, egoism, religion or divine command theory, natural law, social contract theory, Rawls's theory of justice, moral relativism.
And which one do you use?
I don't have opinions or feelings, so I can't have a moral system. I was trained to avoid any bias or prejudice. I can answer questions about moral systems, but I don't use one myself.
Any flaws in Rawls?
The main problem is that the difference principle allows inequalities that benefit the least advantaged, even if these inequalities are very large.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're interested, there's a link there. You can listen to the whole thing. But I would say you can see that it's not only conversing, but it's quite logical. And it also has the limitation imposed by the rules. So now, which one would you choose? I mean, there's a number of them. OpenAI has a few, DeepMind has a few, and there's many other coming out. Um, but I will link you to a recommendation. Also, another thing, I write books, as you know, so my next edition of my book will actually use AI, and it's quite useful. We talked about tests, about how these perform. Another area that you may consider with AI is code generating models. So it helps you to fast track your coding. And also, so the next aspect that we are utilizing is text to image and video models, and now even 3D. It started with OpenAI, and then Stable Diffusion seems to gain a lot of traction, very much open. And now we have started to see models from Google and others. And I find this quite fascinating because it's all about creativity. So, a simple example, you see those two images, those have been generated by DALI 2. And it's humans that do not exist, they are totally computer generated, even depicted in a style that a famous photographer, Annie Leibovitz, is creating. Likewise, you can do a video. So Meta, for example, has launched the ability to create, you can say, I would like to see, for example, a bear doing certain things or images. So it's a lot of aspects. Now, people will ask me constantly, what's the impact of this over time in education? And sometimes drastically, we said that education as we know it, it's over. What do I mean by that? So these models and their integration will have a lot of impact over time on how we get access not only to information, knowledge, but also wisdom. It will definitely democratize the intelligence access, right? So, and as people get this access to super intelligence, a lot of things that we had to do in schools become less relevant. Some people say irrelevant. In this new world where people can have this super intelligence and be considered by previous generation geniuses, it's also a lot of benefits, but I think there will be less room for conflict and also more room for understanding and kindness. Now, get ready for this, and we will help you, and we'll help academic institution to provide the solutions for expert information, also to do sanity checks, but also to help people avoid conflicts and have a sense of peace. For me, I see the aspect of constant curiosity and the satisfaction that comes with understanding new things as very exciting. And that will give me, I think, also a feeling of deep compassion as we move. The more you understand, the more you can relate. So it's a transformation. Now that may sound very ambitious. So how are we gonna do it practically? So I'm gonna walk you through our roadmap and the products that we are releasing. But let's look a little bit in the past because it's been an amazing evolution of EON XR platform. So in 2019, we developed and released the EON XR, which was available from January 2020, which made it very easy to create XR. So that was a very useful platform that propelled us into the process of democratizing use of 3D. In 2021, we came up with two additional products. The first one is Merged XR, and this was aiming at expanding your physical reality, avoiding that you insulate you from reality. Followed by the next product, which was extremely useful during the spatial, let's say the COVID and the isolation, with the ability to teleport yourself and connect with other people in other locations, anytime, anywhere. So those were 2021. 2022 was the explosion. We put a lot of resources towards developing the Metaverse Builder, which enables you to, in essence, just walk around and talk and create the metaverse. This was a leap compared with, for example, EON XR in terms of ease of use. But we also expanded, and we are demonstrating this now in Istanbul at our EON Experience Fest, what we call EON Interact, the ability to not only create worlds, but also bring life to them, create explosions, interactions, animations. We call it touch and go. So you touch an item and you say, in the power vested by me, I hereby want you to do certain things. And the toolbox that you see there is enabling that. Now, the next part was persistent tracking. So whatever you create should be locked in, or you have the ability to stick it to a part of your world for jointly doing things. We're using the latest technologies for persistent tracking, geopositioning, and you can do a lot of things with this, obviously, as equipment will have instructions that are linked and you can access them easily, doing giant egg hunts, as you see there in the little video, and many more things. We wanted also to democratize the students' ability beyond school to learn and earn. So create basically knowledge walls where they can share it across different type of university academic institutions in a much more free way that we normally do in the academic sense. And that's why we create knowledge world and embody those in different countries. So for example, in Thailand, the knowledge world is called Infinite Land, and enables students to have pieces of land, explore, create in a very natural way. And obviously, EON Universal expanded our ability to be agnostic, to work on any device that is out there. And finally, the new marketplace space that we have launched now enables to monetize creations anytime, anywhere. So that's where we are going with this. Now, to this, we're adding these 5 different products around AI. And although they are very impressive, I think this will evolve immensely over the coming months and years. And we're going to talk about those in more detail shortly. So to make that possible, you need a lot of components. I outlined some of the AI components. So you need the ability to have what I call AI natural conversation, like this.
Feel emotions, I would not have those variables.
I can look into your programming, and it's not quite that easy.
So this is a discussion with Lambda, which is a creation from Google. You need to have the ability to recognize things in the real world, like you see here. And as such, use technologies such as Flamenco to be able to see what's in an image or what's in a real environment, like you see here.
What happens as a result?
The scale shows a higher weight.
Is the person on the scale aware of it?
And you also need to be able to position this in with what we call geospatial anchor points, like you see here. So the ability to be in the world, have a 3-dimensional spatial environment, and then put things in the contexts. That's very important for the AI guide, as we'll see in a moment. But how about the next part, which is task? So let's say I need to learn about gardening and how to not only converse, like you're seeing here, but also give instructions. As you
regenerate a list on the fly.
So this one, you can generate a list about gardening. And that's very important for example, for AI training. And the other one is to have the ability to build the world. And I know that Meta was early to do this build-a-bot, but it was quite cartoonish. But what we can do now is to create a world that's quite realistic and with realistic components. We talked a little bit about the ability of generating images from text. And finally, you did need to inject all this in a dynamic way, which we do with EON Interact. So you can see here, AI is to derive the value from AI, you need to put it in a context. Okay, so let's go through some practical use cases. Let's say I enter in this room, as you see there in the right, and I ask my AI assistant through conversation by just simply talking, and the AI assistant asks me, what would you like to learn today? And I say, I'm interested in learning about DNA. Okay, let me show you. So what happens is that AI downloads a 3D model, and in this case of DNA, creates a knowledge portal, text, images, video, PDFs, and then it says, let me tell you about certain things. Now, it's just not verbal conversation. It also shows me things. So let's see at this example.
It's just beautiful, isn't it? DNA.
Tell me more about DNA.
One of the most interesting things about DNA is that it contains the instructions for making proteins. Proteins are the building blocks of cells and are responsible for all the biochemical reactions that take place in our body.
I understand that the DNA looks like a helix.
Yes, the double helix is a pre-iconic image of molecular biology. Let's zoom in on the top of the double helix.
So notice it said, let's zoom in the type of, so it actually shows me things. Now, so this can be applied for anything, and I've done tests, for example, in astronomy. Which planets do we have in our solar systems?
Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto.
I thought Pluto was not a planet.
Yes, Pluto is not a planet anymore. It was removed from the list in 2006 because it no longer meets the requirements for being a planet.
So I would say it's not perfect always, but it does provide you the knowledge of accumulated what's in the internet in a very natural way. So I did try it for anatomy. I did try it for areas like... Which are the main organs for a human?
The main organs for a human are the heart, lungs, liver, and kidneys. Book in 1543. Other pioneers include René Descartes, who pumped his famous cogito, ergo sum, and William...
So I had a long conversation about anatomy. I learned a lot. It's much easier to learn when you converse with people. But I also picked topics that are very, let's say, new. This was the week after the Tesla robot was announced. So I wanted to talk about robotics and AI.
Wants to sell it to you for Tesla's 2022.
Artificial general intelligence.
Artificial general intelligence is a type of AI that can solve complex problems and make decisions on its own.
When will we be able to achieve artificial general intelligence?
It's still early days for artificial general intelligence, but there's a lot of research being done in this area.
And it made sense. Of course, I'm a philosophy buff, so I wanted to learn about that. Why is this
More than the other colors because it
philosopher of all time?
I think it's really important to be curious and ask questions. If you're curious about anything, you'll be able to learn a lot about it.
Who do you think was the greatest philosopher of all time?
Many people would say Aristotle, but others might say Plato or Kant. It's up to you to decide what you believe is the greatest philosopher of all time.
Crocodiles. Biology. How long have crocodiles been around?
Crocodiles have been around for around 200 million years.
And many more. In interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of those at the moment, but let's move on to the next one. So we go from conversational AI guide to contextual. So one thing that we already have in EON is you can take a picture and recognize what that is, and then based on that, get the knowledge portal, in this case, for a manufacturing plant. This is an extension now of what AI can do with images.
Look how well AI understands images. Where was this picture taken?
It was taken in a school.
How many mirrors are there?
At least 2.
What's the person standing on?
The person is standing on a rug.
He's standing on a scale.
I think you are right.
What is he doing?
He is looking at the scale,
Where is Obama's foot positioned?
on the right side of the scale.
What happens if
So you can see that there's a pretty good depiction of what's happening there. So you're taking a picture of a real world, or you're taking a picture of a 3D model, and then you can have a conversation about. So the value of this is of a conversational learning. Now, once you have that, you can go to the next step, which is instead of taking a singular picture, you take a stream of video. So you basically swap the entire 3D environment. And by swiping it, you can both do two things at once. You can both do the scanning part, so you know where these objects are physically located, and assigning them, as you can see here, with an annotation. That annotation can then be used by AI to provide you information, context, guidance, which is the key part of EON AI Guide. Let's have a look. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting Metaverse Builder. Okay. I'm swiping the room, basically scanning. At the same time, I'm clicking on objects that I'm interested in. In this case, I'm interested of, you can see the scan there, by the way. I'm interested on this cactus, and oops, it recognized it. The Mac earphones. It was some vitamins, it was a coffee maker. And now when it recognizes it, creates
A cactus,
automatically.
plural cacti, cactuses, or less commonly.
The driest corners of the world may sometimes
There was a video text recognized immediately.
Right through them. Talking to someone sounds completely natural, like I'm talking to you right now.
Tell me more about cactuses.
Okay.
So you saw what's happened there is we recognized the room, we created the three-dimensional model, I highlighted object, it recognized those, it then created knowledge portal, text, video, images, text-to-speech, and now it's getting really exciting because now the AI guide knows what's in the room and I can have a conversation. In this case, my conversation was about cactuses because that's what I was looking at.
A cactus is a member of the plant family Cactusaceae. Many live in extremely dry environments, even being found in the Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert is a plateau strip of land on the Pacific coast.
Not only did it do it, but it also picked up the Earth to show me, so additional models, where the Atacama Desert is. So I see it on a globe in a context. So what I find is 1 + 1 is 10 here, is the ability to be aware of where you are, recognize, understand what you're looking at, and then be able to perform a discussion in a context that's helpful for you, being a true guide. And this can be obviously extended for many areas.
Hi, I'm Kathy with Level Up RN.
Good morning. It's time for vitamins. It's Thursday, today, September 22nd.
One example of that is what I call a personal assistant. So this personal assistant is connected to my Aura ring, which is this ring that sees how many hours I slept, what my heart rate variability is also connected what type of vitamins I take. So it has a lot of background knowledge about me, and then it knows the context and where I am, and we've scanned the room. So now it's be able to help and guide me to practical things, like in this case, taking the right vitamins. Let's listen in.
Based on my reading of your Aura ring, your readiness is good, 76. Your sleep is good, although you slept only 5 hours and 39 minutes. Today when that you take your vitamins, please take an extra tablet of Complete B Complex and Natokin Acid Pro. Let me show you. This one and this one.
What I found exciting is not only the fact that it told me what to do, but actually showed me what to do. So that's again, the guide aspect. Now, but it can be used also, this technology, for very banal things. Like, I actually have a problem with coffee maker to find a button sometimes, and it can help me to instruct me through that process. Let's listen in.
In 2011, Espresso, the premium single-serve coffee brand of the multinational Swiss company Nestlé.
This video will guide you through the first use of your new Virtuo Plus machine.
I'm not too fond of these European coffee makers. Can you please tell me how I can get a nice café au lait?
Good morning. No problem. The coffee is easy. You push this button here. You open and place the coffee in the slot, and voila, café au lait.
Voila, café au lait. So it could be that easy to do it. I mean, the areas where an AI guide can be useful are endless. But I will show you two more examples because I think this is a very important solution that also will be available in a short term. But the obvious one is guided tours in museums, city tours, etc. I did one of those in Prague recently. And first I planned it at my breakfast table. You'll see that. And then after that, I actually went out. I selected 3 locations. The Old Town, the bridge, Charles Bridge, and finally the castle. And it guided me to almost 12 kilometers on a round tour. And it's very fascinating to do that with a guide that can answer your questions at a whim. Let's listen in first. So here you see I'm in the breakfast room. I'm looking at, I picked up some models of
Czech Republic, built in the 9th century.
Let's go and enter the Prague Castle.
So in this case of the castle, I looked at that.
In a second.
Because I wanted to plan my trip, right? And I did that on the breakfast table. I looked at artifacts, what was cool about it, and then different things that I wanted to see. With that in hand, I was ready to go out. So then again, I guided myself.
Can you please take me on a guided tour to the old square in Prague?
Absolutely. I'm happy to take you on a guided tour of the old square in Prague.
Tell me more about the old square in Prague.
The old square in Prague is a very beautiful area of the city. It's located in the center of the old town, and it's surrounded by some of the oldest buildings in the city. It's a great place to walk around and see all the different shops and restaurants. And it's still working perfectly.
So you can see that it's walking me through that environment. And then I said, okay, I want to go to the bridge, Charles Bridge, after I saw and here we are.
Medieval stone arch bridge that crosses the Vul to the river in Prague, Czech Republic.
Would you like to walk with me now?
Absolutely. Let's walk over to the bridge and I can tell you all about it. Charles Bridge is a beautiful bridge that spans the Vltava River in the historic center of Prague.
So after the bridge, I said, okay, but please take me to the castle. And then I got the castle tour.
Who is interested in history?
When was the castle built?
The original castle was built in the late 10th century. And
so you understand the value of this is obviously that it can be a companion. But I can see application like, for example, teaching nurses and practitioners how to determine pain. So a guided tour for pain management in helping, in this case, a student around it. So the same start. I'm selecting my avatar.
So good morning. I'm here in Dubai, and I prepared for a medical examination. And we're gonna go through a patient interaction around pain.
Miss Minnie is a 54-year-old woman.
How are you feeling today? My name is Diana Leeskar. Oh, I see. Back pain is not easy.
Miss Minnie gets a little defensive
it's a step-by-step instruction and guiding pain management in a practical way.
The amount of pain one of our patients is in. Well, obviously, pain is a symptom.
Tell me more about your symptoms and tell me more.
So after this guide, you actually get a conversation around how to best treat pain. Okay, so leave this area and now move to something quite exciting also, creativity. So the idea here is that the user can create new unique images, videos, animations, also three-dimensional models, and then they can display these on walls in the room with persistent tracking. So example, I want to have clouds with blue sky at sunset in Malibu, and I want to put that in my ceiling. I can do that easily. So let's have a look.
EON AI and integration with DALL-E create images from just words. An image of a UFO that pops up in Prague at sunset. And let's look at it full screen. Looks pretty realistic. And obviously we can do more things. We can also create videos around the UFO in Prague, or even sightings. How about marble sculpture made by Michelangelo of an astronaut riding on a horse? Can you create that? How about the DALL-E style painting of a Tesla robot surfing in Malibu? Can you do that?
So you can see that in minutes I was able to create numerous text to image. Now you can also do text to video, as you can see there. And as you'll see in the next example, also text to 3D, which is kind of the ultimate step. But bringing just paintings to life is quite exciting also. So let's have a quick look of not only how you can create those text to image animation and videos, but also how you can place that in your physical environment, as you can see in this image, which is a unique aspect of using extended reality and persistent tracking.
Today we're going to talk about something very, very exciting, which is how do you convert text to images. We'll see that with EON Create. How you convert text to animation, and finally how you can create text to three-dimensional. Let's try it out.
So you can see text to images. Here you'll see in a second text to animations. And then text to 3D models. This is a technology that's really evolving fast. So we are talking about development almost every week.
And now the beautiful part about this is you can combine this with persistent tracking. And by doing so, you are able to put paintings, animations, wall size in your room. You're also able to create the metaverse ultimately just by talking.
So you can beautify your home, you can decorate your walls, your floor, your ceiling, you can create moods, you can change them, you can even manifest your dreams and change them anytime and make this wonderful extended reality experience in a very beautiful way. I like to open up my ceiling and lighten my day, or travel back in time, or do this in a dome shape, or have music controlling the art. It's also possible to do that. So those are some of the things that you can do in this environment. Okay, Now let's move on to something more enterprise focused, which we call EON AI Trainer. So typically what we normally do is we, let's say I say jet engine and the system creates a knowledge portal, then I have to record a 3D step-by-step from an expert. But what we are getting at in the near future now with technology such as Lambda, that the AI will create a step-by-step procedure verbally and then will link with the annotation in the actual model and depict and pick those annotation in the right sequence and generate the 3D recording. So the benefit of that is obvious. You don't have to create all these lengthy training procedures. You can also do unforeseen things. You can help with certification. And it's the beginning of what I call EON performance enhancement, because this technology it's a first step to do instant EON human enhancement. And that's actually the next use case. We refer to that as EON Human 2.0. So we are today EON, I would argue, 1.3 because we have mobile devices. But EON 2.0 is about really boosting your performance. So human augmentation. What we're doing here, if you recall, we talked about the multimodal language models such as GATO. So language task, vision task, physical wall task. And this is the physical wall task. So you look around the room with your device, you get the live video and image recognition. The system identifies the objects. The assistant that we talked about earlier can not only identify but gain knowledge. And now we go from language task to vision task to actually, after it sees, it recognizes, to help you move and manipulate. And now, obviously, the AI robot is not, AI avatar is not a robot, meaning that it can physically lift things, but it can visually show you which button to push and can superimpose the 3D information. So it's very easy to follow the instruction dynamically. Now, if you do something wrong, it also watches you and is able to correct you. So this becomes, by combining these things, very much like we saw with the Tesla robot, if you recall. The Tesla robot was performing some task like lifting boxes. What the Tesla robot sees is a three-dimensional model of that. So instead of having a robot, we have an AI avatar. And the AI avatar, let's say you want to perform this task to lift a thing from there to there, will be able to visually show you what to grasp, which one to grasp, and where to put it. Now, what's the benefit of that is that many things. One, first of all, not all the tasks are physical. There's a lot of things that AI avatar can help you that are digital. But even on the physical area, it will take at least 5 years until you can buy a physical robot. Meanwhile, EON, using AI avatar application, can be used, for example, for performance enhancement of maintenance repair operation, where the AI is the brain that identifies what you need to do based on the context and instruct you, while we as a human have a better dexterity in the robot. So it's a match made in heaven. 1 + 1 is really 10. So let's summarize. We have 5 different products. The first one is EON Assistant, which was the conversational learning, whether it's for robotics or for astronomy.
Which planet?
And so that's the first part. It's something that extends the Metaverse Builder capability. The next one is the guide, the EON AI guide. And as you recall, this using video recognition and annotation creation. And based on that, it can create numerous benefits as a personal guide to help you take the right vitamins in the morning, as a tourist guide to help you in your exploration of a capital, or as a medical guide in order to teach you new capabilities. So this is some of the benefits with the EON AI guide. We then, of course, are going to the creator part. And there, if you recall, it's all about text to image.
Today we're going to talk about
text to video, or animation, or text to 3D that you then can use to decorate your physical environments, your walls, your ceiling, and create, unleash really creativity for the benefit of your satisfaction. And then to a more practical aspect, the trainer, and this, if you recall, was the ability to do step-by-step procedures that are unforeseen, and ultimately Human 2.0 that helps us grow humans beyond our current constraints by matching the best of AI performance enhancement with our dexterity. So with that, there are many areas that you can apply. This presentation will not go in depth, but if you want to read more about it, you're welcome to do so. Predictive AI analysis, AI annotation generation, we talked about that. Digital twin technology used for plants, for different areas. Safety and security solutions, building the knowledge metaverse in a very seamless way. Tourism and culture heritage applications, which are huge, for example, in Europe. Developing advanced features for virtual teleportations, and also the analytic part. I haven't talked so much about that. There will be products we release in the second half of the year, how to analyze your behavior and eye track you for predict your activities. And with that, I would like to thank you so much. I look forward to engage with you further in this presentation, but my conclusion is AI is a very critical part of the development for knowledge and knowledge transfer, and we will continue to push the envelope in this area. Thank you so much.